What is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here, bringing the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. You asked for it in the Discord, so here I am bringing it to you. A little bit late, but still bringing it to you. Here is plans. Now, I was asked specifically to make a deck playing the Sun Seeds as well as the Rikkas, although I didn't really want to do the typical plant pile that everyone sees. That's something that's kind of been tinkered with and explored a lot more. And that's something that I haven't really been paying too much attention to be completely honest. So I decided I wanted to try something else. I read every single one of the plant cards that are typically played in those plant combo decks, and I decided I wanted to put my own little twist to it. If you've seen the channel before, you know I love Predaplant and Rikka, and so today I am bringing to you air quote plants. Now, the point of this deck is basically just to assemble a board of a lot of different engines functionally. A lot of these plant archetypes can all connect each other using Aromatherapy Jasmine. And because of that, we are going to be playing a lot of plants. Now, just because we're playing a lot of plants doesn't mean we're not playing any non-plants. Specifically, we're playing one major non-plant, being Therion King Regulus. This card here is a machine, not a plant, and there's a lot of cards in this deck that do plant lock us. For example, our Sunvine Sowing, plant locks us. Our Snowdrop, plant locks us. Our Petal, plant locks us. Our Rikka Con, plant locks us. Our Aromalilith Rosalina, plant locks us. There's a lot of different plant locks in the deck, although since the deck is very malleable, there's a lot of ways we can play around it. So that's enough yapping about the overall deck profile. Let's talk about the card by card. Starting off with our Sun Seeds, we're on triple Primite Roar in order to get our Sunseed Genius Loci out on our board, as well as triple Unexpected Dive, triple Loci, and one Sunvine Sowing as a search target off of Dryas. I've seen people play two. I'm not. I want to play some more non-engine in the deck, so that's what I'm opting for. And then that's it for our Sun Seeds, at least in our main deck. Let's talk about our Rikkas now. We're on triple copies of Princess, which is a free special. It technically plant locks us, but only while it's face up on our side of the field, so it isn't the worst thing in the world. And it's a negate while it's in our graveyard. We're on one Petal, where it allows us to just add a Rikka from our deck to our hand, and then plant locks us, and then it can bring itself back from our graveyard during our opponent's turn. Snowdrop, the Rikka Fairy, allows us to tribute a plant and special both it and another plant from our hand, and then we're plant locked. Mudon allows us to tribute a plant to special summon from our hand, and then we can add a Rikka spell trap, and the spell trap that we add plant locks us. And then Ricochet, which is a targeted, I guess it's not negation. It prevents our opponent from activating the card that we target. And then if we tributed a monster when we activate this, we can steal that monster for the end of the turn. Really useful. We also turn it into a plant, which is also, again, very useful. This card is quite strong, and it's a very good reason to be playing the Rikka engine in your deck. Because if you do have Con on the field, instead of tributing one of your monsters, you can tribute your opponent's monster, basically getting a 2-for-1. We're also on Ragnarika's, triple Evil Seed and one Bloom, none of the other ones. We're just here to summon our Evil Seed, add Bloom, and get some extra extenders. And for our Predaplants, we are on triple Orphis Scorpio, one Darlingtonia Cobra, and one Sundew, as well as fusion targets of Ultra Polymerization and Instant Fusion. Now, downside to both of these cards make us pay life points in order to fuse, which isn't really the best in this deck because we want to be losing life points for our Sun Avalons. Although we do get a lot of extra advantage, Ultra Poly being able to get 2 bodies back from our graveyard that we used for the Fusion Summon, and Instant Fusion allowing us to just not use the 2 bodies to begin with, so we can, no matter what we're maintaining the bodies, if we open one, we can search the other. That's the idea. And then one copy of Predaplanting, which is incredibly strong against Ryzeal at this moment, and the reason we're playing Predaplant, because this is a card that's searchable off of Ambula Melodies, and we can just activate it to make everything that's currently on board a level 1. Also putting a Predator counter on everything, so if we have made it to the point where we're able to get a Dragos Tapelia on board, it's also a skill drain. It also pops a card in the graveyard if we fusion summon again, but likely if we have Dragos Tapelia on our side of the board and we're activating this, we're not going to be fusion summoning again, so that effect isn't especially relevant. We're on triple copies of Lone Fire Blossom. It's a plant that can grab any other plant, so it's functionally any copy of any plant in this deck, so nice. And then for aromas, we're on one Blend, one Humid Winds, one Laurel, and 2 Rosalina. Rosalina on normal or special can add special summon another aroma out of our deck that's not a tuner, and then we can't special for the rest of the turn except for plants. And then Laurel's a non-tuner, we're sent to the graveyard, we can just gain 500, which is really good for triggering our Aromatherapy Jasmine. We're also on Therions of Lily Borea and Regulus, as well as one Disco Coliseum. Lily Borea is a plant. it can send itself or the thing that's equipped to it to the graveyard to add Disc Coliseum, which can then add Regulus, and Regulus can then equip Lily Borio from our graveyard after we use it for link material to get a free negate. One note that I did forget to mention off of Aroma Blend, we can pitch a card to place a Humid, Dried, or Blessed Winds from our deck onto the field, which is why we're playing Humid. And then also what's in our graveyard, we can fusion summon a plant fusion monster from our extra deck by banishing materials from our hand or field, or if our life points are higher than our opponents, we can also use our graveyard in a sort of necro fusion aspect, where we're able to basically just use all our Predaplants on board for link material, and just use them in the graveyard later to make our Dragastapelia if that's something we're able to do. We're also on non-engine of Triple Thrust, Double Tactics, one Called by the Grave, Triple Ash Blossom, Triple Fuwa, Triple Imperm, and Double Nibiru the Primal Being. In our extra deck, we're on 1 Dryas, 1 Dryades, 1 Melius, 1 Healer, the Bangle Lancer, 1 Thrasher, 1 Skeletal Soldier to bring back our Ragnarok of the Evil Seed if we have it in rotation, just for an extra extender. It can also bounce stuff from our field back to the extra deck in order to put them back in the extra deck so we can use them again. 1 Ambulo, 1 Dragastapelia, double Jasmine. There is an argument to be running triple Jasmine. I did just want to include the Teardrop instead of the third Jasmine, so that's the reason why we're not playing it. It has come up in a couple of games, although it doesn't come up frequently enough where I feel like I need to be including it. 1 copy of Rosemary, 1 copy of Strenna, 1 Hyperion, however pronounce this card's name, and 1 Teardrop the Rikka Queen. Now that's it for the deck profile. Now let's go into a duel. This is going to be a best 2 out of 3, so I hope y'all are ready for a little bit of a longer duel. Alrighty, so this is going to be our game 1 against our opponent. We have opened kind of alright. We've opened our Lokai, one of our soft garnets being Sundew, 1 Lily Boria, Nibiru, and Disc Coliseum, which is a card we ideally want to be searching off Lily Boria. So not especially the best open, but let's see what our opponent's able to accomplish. We are going second. It is 40. There are opponents on 45 and 15, so let's see what they're able to accomplish. Here they're going to normal summon the Mermail Shadow Squad, pitching a Dragoons, adding New Poseidra, the Stormy Atlantean, making heavy Bat 7, although they're immediately going to get rid of it in order to summon Poseidra, and then summon a Neptibus out with that effect. They're going to go Neptibus, send Dragoons in order to add a Gun, and then they're probably going to go Dragoons effect. So Dragoons is going to trigger, adding a Moon Glacia. So ideally we want to prevent them from Glacias, but that requires them being greedy. They're going to go Lind in order for a Quacklinth. They're going to go Neptibus in order to bring back the Dragoons. They're going to make a Marincess, and they're going to use Quacklinth effect. At this point, they do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in graveyard, so they can no longer Moon Glacia, and their board is full. So at this junction, we see the multiple level 4s. We know they're going to go into Bahamut Sharks. We are going to Nibiru them at point of resolution. We're going to bring out that rock for them, and then they are going to pass turn. Here we draw an unexpected die for turn. Not great after we already put Nibiru on board. We're going to add a Regulus off this Disco Coliseum. We're going to normal our Lokai, make a Dryas, go Dryas effect in order to add Sowing. Before we use that Sowing, first we're going to have to get that Lily Boria out of our hand, so we're going to do that. Go into a Skeletal Soldier, because this is one of our only generics in our extract, only needing 2 monsters, including an insect, plant, or reptile, so it's only one of our only ways of getting rid of the Nibiru token, or rather Nibiru itself. And now that we got that Lily in our graveyard, we are able to go for Regulus in order to insulate ourselves. Here we're going to go into a Dryades, and then we're going to go Sowing in order to plant lock ourselves, getting another Lokai. Then we're going to go Dryades effect in order to grab a Thrasher to gain some attack. We're going to go into a Jasmine here, using our Lokai and our Dryades in order to try and access some of our other plants from our deck. We're going to go for Jasmine Tribute, they're going to Veiler, we're going to Regulus, and then this does open us up to a Nibiru, although they will be getting rid of their big-ass token. We're going to go into a Rosalina, we're going to grab a Laurel, and then our opponent is going to be Nibiruing us right back. If they do lose out on their token, we're going to gain some life, and we're going to pass it back to our opponent. And let's see what they are going to be able to accomplish with FE Infantry. They're going to a Lizard Dose, they're going to draw a card, permanently lower our Nibiru token's attack, and then they're going to set a card and pass. That set card is probably non-engine, so we do have to be a little bit concerned about that. We're going to normal summon our Sundew, and we're just going to get in for 600, getting the big damage in. We're going to set our Sheep. That is why we normal summon the Sundew, because this can tribute any plant in order to take a monster. So we're hedging our bets that we are going to be able to steal one of our opponent's monster using the Sundew. And ideally, we're going to draw something off the top. Here, they're going to go Prosp in order to Prosp for 3. They're going to find Abyss Teus. And so they're going to have to pitch a card in hand for Teus, which is not ideal. But they're not going to have the card to pitch now, so we're going to be able to draw. If we find an Evil Seed, we're going to normal that Evil Seed. We're going to use the effect. They're going to flip up Infirm. And we're going to make a Jasmine. We are going to pass it right back to our opponent after swinging for 18. All we need is one more monster and we're able to access everything else. So we're just going to be chilling on this Jasmine. Here they're going to go Teus in order to pitch a Perulia to summon itself out. They're going to go Teus effect in order to add a squad from their deck to their hand. Here they're going to normal summon the squad, and then here we're going to sheet. We don't want them to discard any cards from their hand in order to trigger those effects. We don't want them to modulate the level of their squad. We already knew they went through one anemone, so we're unsure if they're playing multiple. Probably since they're on Quackland, they're not on multiple. So we just want them to prevent them from modulating that level to give them access to Gaios and then Poseidra, the big man. So we're just going to prevent them from doing that without having to tribute a monster. They're not going to be able to get over our Jasmine, so they're going to get over the token, and we're going to protect with our Disc Coliseum, sending a Lily Borea. Here we're going to drop a Talents for turn. We're going to run over their Shadow Squad, and we're just going to use our Disc Coliseum in order to add our Regulus back to hand, the hidden effect. And our opponent is going to surrender after realizing we now have access to a negate and our full combo because we can summon it in the Zone of Jasmine. Now let's check out our Game 2. Alright, so here we are at Game 2. Game 2, we've opened Lone Fire, Lily Borea, the Disc Coliseum once more, and double Talents. Let's see what we're able to accomplish. And so our opponent is going to be starting. They're going to be normal summoning a Pike. They're going to use Pike effect in order to add a Minstrel. Here they're going to be able to look at our hand and rip out any hand traps. Unfortunately, we don't have any. Minstrel is going to rip out our Lone Fire. It's a strange rip, but I get it, kind of. They're going to go Quathglint in order to summon a fuck ton out of their deck. Not quite as many as they imagined they would like. They're going to go Monoceros in order to bring that card back. They're going to go effect in order to bring Pike back, go into Bahamut. They're going to go Bahamut in order to bring in a Toad. They're going to go into a Abyss Trite in order to bring back their Teus. They're going to go into a Marincess to bring back their Minstrel to mill a couple and put some back. Shadow Squad, because it was milled, summon a Neptibus. Neptibus effect, dumping Dragoons, adding Dragoons. Dragoons effect is going to trigger here. And they're going to be able to add from deck to hand the Storming Atlantean. Here they're going to make a Haggard. They're going to go Haggard in order to draw a card. They're going to go into a Poseidra Abyss, go into a Mermail Abyss Lacia, bringing back a bunch of their cards with Poseidra. Dragoons is going to trigger again, adding a Heavy Infantry. And here they are going to be able to go into a Trish. Trish to banish a card from our hand, banishing our Disc Coliseum, which is very unfortunate. Poseidra Abyss coming down. And then they're going to bring out our Shadow Squad. Shadow Squad's going to pitch a card in order to make a Gaios. They're going to make this King Neptibus, and they're going to be passing. We're going to draw Rikka Princess off the top. This is the one card they don't know. So we have double Talents, Lone Fire, Lily Borea, and Rikka Princess into a negate, a board negate, and if they have the equip spell, they can immediately equip it onto Neptibus, providing them either a spell, monster, or trap negate at point of resolution. They have one card in hand, which is going to be the known Heavy Infantry, so they also do have a pop. So let's see what we were able to accomplish. Here we're going to normal summon our Lone Fire, no effect. We're going to special summon our Rikka Princess in hand. Here they're going to be able to pop a card with Heavy Infantry. With that monster activation, we can go Talents in order to take. They're going to go Toad to negate. And they're going to take our Talents, ironic. They're going to go Toad in order to add Abyss Teus back to hand. We're going to go Lily Borea in order to summon itself and put Lone Fire. We're going to go Talents in order to take. They're going to negate. We're still going to take their Abyss Gaios, and our opponent is going to concede. That's going to be about it for the deck profile. Thank you all so much for watching, if you still are. If you want to become a member and support me to make these videos, I recommend checking out the end of all my videos where I'll have all the details in order to make that decision for you. But that's going to be about it for me. Again, thank you all so much for watching, if you still are, and I'll be seeing you all later. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanted to talk to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like yourself, I would highly recommend checking out our Discord server. Link is going to be in the description, as well as the QR code on screen. We do talk somewhat frequently about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the current meta, so I would really enjoy to see you there. as well as we do recently now have channel memberships available on our YouTube channel, where we have 3 different tiers. We have Super Supporter at $2 a month, where you get loyalty badges, emojis, guaranteed comment responses, a shout out at the end of every video, as well as access to the members only Discord channel, where you get early sneak peeks at future videos. There is the Giga Supporter at $5 a month, where you have early access to all new videos about a day or two before they go up, as well as all the previous offers. And for $15 a month, we do have our final tier, which is going to be Femboy Fanatic. You get a guaranteed customized video every single month, as well as 1 hour of my time. Could be for anything you'd like. You want a duel? Absolutely. You want me to help build a deck? Absolutely. You want to play some Helldivers? Sure. I'll do anything for an hour once a month. But supporting does help me out quite a lot, and it does help me produce all of these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye bye.